So, we're going to try this again. I have no idea what this is going to look like with me wearing a white shirt. I've had problems with it before with the green screen behind me, but that's just part of the man behind the curtain, I guess. Let's see. I've had a lot of people that I've seen on Facebook, MS groups, asking a lot of the same questions. With, on one side, you understand everyone's individual wants to know the answer to their questions, regardless of whether or not it's been asked 1,000 times in the last 1,001 posts that were made. Because everything is very individual. The experience of MS is very individual. No two cases are the same. No two people react to it the same. So I don't want to really do a continuation of backstory, but I do want to talk about for a minute my diagnosis, how it came about. So when I was a kid, my dad got me a motorcycle, and I had a accident where I flipped it on riding around too fast on wet grass. And when I landed, I don't remember this, but this is the only thing that ever happened to me that of an accident type. I remember hitting the back of my head, landing kind of upside down, and I got knocked out. But from that point forward, I had to stop playing football. I had a lot of back problems. I just thought it was, I got banged up. But I guess parents didn't have insurance. I don't know what the issue was, but I never went to go get checked out. Throughout my life, I was fine, vaguely fine. I had back problems every once in a while, had torn muscles every once in a while with my lumbar. But I mean, I was overall an okay person. I was overweight, but I was an okay person. But then I got to 2009. I'd gone to England with a girlfriend of mine. I'll get into this later, but this was my first fiance, but was going to be my second wife. I'll get into that later. Anyway, so we'd gone to England. It was her birthday, her and her twin brother's birthday, and I was walking all throughout London and all over England as we traveled around, and I was just having a lot of leg problems kind of giving out of me, back problems. I just thought it was just the amount of work I was doing. Plus I knew I had a bad back. I didn't know how bad, but I knew I had a bad back. Go to about 2013, and that marriage is over at that point. And I'm working, and I'm noticing that my left arm, I'm not able to lift things over my head or extend my left arm fully upward if I'm trying to put something up on the top shelf at work. At the time, I was managing a custom rim and tire shop. So I started having that problem. Then I started having walking problems where my knees just felt like my legs were giving out. I would stand talking with the customer, and my legs would go completely dead, and I would just drop straight to the floor and crumble. But it would be instantaneous. As soon as I hit the ground, I was fine. I'm like, what the hell was that? First time it happened, I thought someone pushed me, but there was no one around. Spooky ghost. And so that went on for a little bit, but when the walking stuff really started to become a problem, and I wasn't able to walk more than, I don't know, say from the parking lot to inside of Walmart or something. And by the time I was in there, I would have to sit down somewhere. I really noticed it going to Fiesta, Texas, Six Flags in San Antonio. I bought season tickets. I thought we were going to have a great day, and I was stopping in between every bench I could find. So fast forward just a little bit to the end of 2014, I go and start trying to figure out what's going on. And by the summer of 15, June of 2015, I had back surgery. And what they found was out of 5 discs, the middle one was fractured in pieces. So they were physically going to replace my vertebrae. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's L3. But they replaced it, but the 2 above it and the 2 below it each had to be fused. So 5 became essentially 3. And then all 3 got brackets put around the entire thing to hold everything together. They told me if I didn't have the surgery, I would be in a wheelchair within the next year because of how bad it was damaged and how bad it was hurting my my spinal column and my nerves. So I got that done. And the day I got out of surgery, literally 22 hours after surgery, I'm in my vehicle. We go to Walmart, and with a walker, of course, little tennis balls and stuff at the end of it. I go walking through Walmart. I have a 10-inch fresh incision up my spine, staples all in it, a blood pump, it's our blood drain pump, I guess was what it's called, and I'm walking. I was like, okay. And I go home, and over the course of about 2.5 weeks, I think is what it was, I went back to work. And then after work, when I went to work, I had my walker with me. I had this big, huge back brace, and went to work, and I was fine. Give it about 6 weeks, the walker's gone. Back brace is still there. 3 months in, I'm starting to go to the gym, and I'm on the treadmill, and I'm doing, well, I started off light, but over the course of about 6 months, I worked myself up to be able to do about 4 miles. And so I was in the gym after 9 months. I mean, basically, with the exception that I couldn't lift anything, I was back. It felt great. I hadn't felt like this since, I was in high school. And so I thought everything was great. But they told me that the surgery was not going to really correct anything. It was just going to stop the continuation of damage that was already being done from the basically my spine was starting to drop into my pelvis. So that the nerve damage that was there was going to be there. So like, okay. So get about a year, maybe a year and a half after that. We're now probably talking late 2016 or so. I am starting to feel a little off, a little weak in the legs and stuff. Go forward again to around Christmas of 2017 was the first time I fell, and I was able to get up. And then you go, I don't know how much further past that. Not much further. By February, I'm on a cane. February of 18. I'm on a cane, and again, I'm worried about it, but I'm not worried about it. I know I kind of figured this was going to come. Although now I'm technically worse off than where I was before. I can still walk a pretty good distance, but I have to use a cane to do it. So I'm better off than where I was, but I have to use a cane. So I let it go. Then I changed jobs. I physically couldn't do the other job anymore. I was having more back problems and stuff. So by the late summer, early fall of 2018, I start looking into. I go back to a neurosurgeon, and they do X-ray stuff to make sure my bones have not separated, that the screws are still where they're supposed to be, that nothing's happened, no pinched nerves. They did an MRI, and they said there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Now this took to almost Christmas to figure out, but um, there's nothing structurally wrong with you. There's no reason that we can see for why you're having the symptoms that you're having. So it must be neurological. So then I started running through everything neurological that may have happened in my family. Um, my grandmother had MS. Um, my my mom's sister has half sister has MS. So there is a link there, possibly through my grandfather, but it was my grandmother that had MS, and there's no link between those two. So I was like, okay, is that, is it ALS? Is it Lou Gehrig's disease? I mean, I just started. You scare yourself. You end up going to WebMD or Google your symptoms and trying to figure out what's wrong with you, and all you do is just scare the hell out of you. So if you're watching this, don't do it. I say that and I still do it, but don't do it. So I finally get to a neurologist, and we started working. Did MRIs first. Nothing was there. I had 0 lesions. I had no lesions anywhere. Did some muscle studies, and where they put all the pins in you and kind of shock it, I guess, to see how your muscle twitches. And then they finally did the lumbar puncture, the spinal tap. So they did that, and that was, yep, you got MS. Now, what I have found since then bothers me. I'm talking to a doctor. I expect them to know what they're talking about. I recently found out that through these Facebook pages that there isn't a real diagnosis for MS. It's a educated guess based on what they see in the spinal tap and on the MRIs. But there is no actual test for MS that I've been able to find. So here's where my story takes a left turn. So I'm diagnosed with MS. At this time, this is March 3rd, 2019. At this time, I'm walking with a cane. I'm walking from my car to the inside of a hospital, up to the 3rd floor with an elevator, and down a 100-yard hall to get to the office. It's like the worst place for someone who doesn't walk well. But I make it up there several times. That's March 3rd, 2019. They say it takes at least 6 months or up to a year to diagnose what type of MS you have. And my dad, around this time, that's kind of a whole separate story, but real quick on that. My dad had come to see me, and we were kind of estranged at that point. We'd gone about 20 years with only seeing each other 6 times. And phone calls were kind of hit and miss. But anyway, so he's passing through town, and I've told him all my issues and stuff and how bad things are, but he hasn't physically seen me at this point in a couple of years. And so he stops by, grabs breakfast tacos. We lived in San Antonio. I live in San Antonio. And he came through to see me, and when he gets there, my only assumption, I've never asked him this, my only assumption must have been that he said, "Holy shit." Because at this point, I'm having problems getting up. I have a sunken living room in my apartment. I had problems getting up that. At this point, I'm able to get dressed, though. I can cook. Everything is, for the most part, I'm still self-contained. I just do it very slowly. And I'm still driving. But I don't know if he just saw the progression from the last time he saw me a few years ago to this, and he never put 2 and 2 together that what I was saying was, I don't know, 100% factual, that this is how bad off I am. Something happened, and he leaves, and about 2 weeks later, I get a phone call asking or offering for him to build me a house in Oklahoma, though, to come up here and live. And he's got 5 acres out here, beautiful country. And but it would take me away from San Antonio. I have a 15-year-old son, at that point he was 13, I guess. Uh, but he was going to, I was going to have to leave him behind. And I didn't know how often I was going to be able to see him because I can't drive that far. And so, anyway, so before I did anything, I was going to ask my son for his blessing. And I asked him, I said, my dad has offered me something that is really for my benefit. However, I have done everything in my life to stay as close as I can to you, to not miss time with you, and I fight for all the time I can get with you. If you don't want me to go, I will not go. And my son told me that that this is the best thing for you, and if you don't go, you're stupid. Yeah, it's gonna suck, but we've had hard times before. Whenever I first got diagnosed, or whenever I first got the back surgery, I was living in Waco. I was about 3 hours away for about 2 years. Other than that, I've always been by him. But so he knew what it was like to not have me around, and that's why I didn't want to do it again. So anyway, he gives me his blessing, and so in October of 19, I come up here. We didn't break ground on the house until February, and I moved in here July of 20. So, rewind. I got diagnosed March 3rd, 2019. I can walk, I'm self-contained. I get up here in October of 19. In probably January, January of 20, by this point I already have Social Security. I'm already on disability. I go and I get, I go apply for Medicaid. In Oklahoma, it's called Sooner Care. I go apply for Sooner Care, and I was going to apply for food stamps. And they told me that I make too much. I'm not going to go into how much I make, but that I made too much to get food stamps. However, I was still under the mark to get something called Advantage. So if you are out there looking for help and don't think you can afford it, please listen. Advantage, I think, is in every state. Advantage is a program where, oddly enough, from them I got approved for Sooner Care, and I did not get approved for food stamps, but I got approved for like Meals on Wheels type of service. Then I also got a home caretaker, and she comes out here. They gave me 11 and a half hours a week based on different things that I needed, because at that point in January of last year, less than a year and a half ago, at this point I was still driving, but I couldn't cook. I could reach into the fridge, but I couldn't stand to do anything in the way my house set up. I had no way to cook. Or my apartment that I was staying at that time. And I couldn't stand for very long. And I was also on a walker. Instead of a cane, I was trying to use a walker. And from that point, they gave me the personal care assistant, which is allowed to help me with my shower, to get dressed, cook, clean, errands. Could take me to doctor's appointments, but me now being in a power chair, I can't do that because I have to ride in what they call Sooner Ride, which is a van service that I can ride in my chair because I can't transfer out of it into a car. So they give me food service, the PCA. I have nurses that come to my house to draw my blood for blood work, so I don't have to go do those type of doctor visits. For my pain management, they come and do my UA here on site and take it to wherever they're going to take it. So it's been really great. I even have a counselor, separate video, but we'll talk about it about my depression and stuff. I have a counselor that comes out once a week, comes to my house. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be available everywhere, but this particular guy does. And I'm in rural Oklahoma, so I'm pretty sure you can find someone if you're in a larger city. Um, but that guy's been great. Um, any other services I can think of I got? Probably not. So, um, as I sit here now, again, March 3rd, 2019, before I left, they told me I had PPMS. I forgot to say that a minute ago, I think. So, in the 2 years and just over 2 months, 2 years and 2 months, I have gone from cooking, um, driving, walking with a cane, um, going to doctor's appointments, going to go pick up my son, um, getting out and going to the movie theaters, going to um, restaurants, hanging out. I didn't have a whole lot of people who would come see me, though. I had my buddy Chris was the closest person I really kind of hung out with. I've known him since high school. Today, I am confined to one of three places: my power chair, my lift recliner that I have to use as a bed because I can't roll over or sit up on my own. If I fall, EMTs have to come get me and pick me up. My little bracelet thing on for the button. So I have a power chair, a recliner, and the toilet. Those are the three places my body will be, as far as I can tell, forever. Now, thanks to the power chair, I can get around. I've got a really great power chair. Again, Sooner Care paid for it. I paid $4. That was my copay. Otherwise, they paid for effectively a $38,000 vehicle. I never did that in my own cars I've driven. But this chair will lay down flat. It's not the most comfortable thing to sleep in, but I have. But it'll lay down flat. The legs will come up. It'll lift straight up 18 inches. So if I had to get to like a taller shelf or something like in the fridge. So I've got this great chair, but my left arm is completely contracted. The one that I had a problem with to begin with is now completely contracted. I'll try and put it in frame. I can't push my arm away from my body. I've got some shoulder rotation, but only really forward and up. I can't pull it back. My right arm is going that direction. My fingers are kind of rolled up. It's hard to straighten them out. I can reach out, but I have a little bit of a bend, or where my arm won't fully extend out. I mean, otherwise, I've got pretty good, like right here, I can't get my hand to go up. This is how this arm started. So, it petrifies me to know that when this arm goes, that's effectively putting me at a 9.0 on the disability scale. I'm currently at an 8.5. The only thing keeping me from a 9.0, which is bedridden, is the ability to get up and transfer between seats. My fear is an actuality, and it's coming. This arm will tuck inward like the other one will. I won't be able to transfer. I will be bedridden. And I will probably have an option of diapers or a colostomy bag and catheter. One is humiliating. The other one, I don't know what it's going to cost. I don't know if insurance would cover it, if Medicare would cover it. But that's where my road heads. I'm going to be unable to go to the bathroom on my own. Unable to pull my pants up because both arms will be up. Right now, I have to do it with one arm, and even that sometimes is tricky. Sometimes I need help with that. But at that point, I won't be able to bathe myself. I won't be able to even, like I said, put my shorts on. Right now, I can't put a shirt on unless it's a tank top. I would need routine daily help, not just a couple hours here and there. I would need someone here at all times, especially if I'm in a diaper or a colostomy bag or something. Maybe that lasts a day. I don't know how long that lasts. When you read the literature on how long it takes to go from point A to point B down the disability scale, the average is 20 years. I've had 2. I've also been fighting to get on a Medicaid. Right now, I'm just doing pain management because of all the great things I've said about Oklahoma. I'm having a problem of getting to an MRI, an open MRI, where because of the way my arm is and stuff, I can't really go into a tube. Plus, I'm a big guy. I need to get an MRI done so I can get on that crevice. So because I can't get to the MRI, I can't get to the crevice. From what I understand on that, it slows the progression down by about 80%, which means that for every day that I miss not getting, or every day that goes by that I haven't gotten that infusion, I lose 4 more days. I've been trying to get this since March of last year. So over a year, which means I've lost 4 years of activity. Someone said I have a really good outlook on things, and because I've come to accept different things. It's not that I have a good outlook. I used to run casinos. You can call it a poker face, but I played Texas Hold'em for a long time, and just because you get dealt a shitty hand doesn't mean you can't win the game. And I think that might be my parting lesson to everybody that's watching this video. Just because you are dealt a shitty hand does not mean you've lost. Take some bluffing, sometimes bluffing yourself. But at this point, what do I have to lose? All my chips are in. I can't go back. I can't fold because all my money's in the pot. So I press on. I find things to get my creativity out. I have said this for probably the better part of 30 years. I'm 41 now. I've said this since I was a kid. That being happy is not a thing, and it doesn't happen today. It never has. Never once has happiness happened at the moment you're in. Happiness is having something to look forward to. A reason, a purpose, a motivation, whatever you want to call it. Now, you can be glad in the moment. I don't think you truly ever are happy. Maybe your children's birth, something like that, the day you got married. But otherwise, happiness is knowing like you're happy because tomorrow's Christmas, tomorrow's your birthday, you're going on a cruise tomorrow, you're going on vacation, you're graduating, whatever. You're looking forward to something. So with everything I just said, what do I have to look forward to? The main thing is this right here. I have no outside connections. My dad works out of state. He comes, he'll be here this weekend, but he comes and goes, gone for several weeks, maybe a couple months, comes back home for a long extended weekend. And I've got my stepbrother lives next door. If I really need anything, but I don't have anyone else out here. I have no other ways to make connections with people. I'm locked within my four walls. Beautiful scenery outside whenever I go outside. But I'm locked inside my four walls in a recliner, a power chair, or a toilet. And I'm reaching through this lens to make connections. People who will follow me, hear how this story ends eventually. And people who, may hate what I'm saying, because not everything I say is going to be upbeat. Especially if you watch the first video, I already kind of talked about it, and I'll talk about it more at a later time. But I said a 9.0 is being bedridden. A 9.5 is bedridden, but it's unable to communicate, which means I couldn't talk, I couldn't do this. I've seen one person at that stage, and all they can do basically is blink and hit a bell. Not hanging around for that. Take that as you will. But this video has gone on way long enough, about 10 minutes longer than I wanted it to. So until next time, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like, share it. If you know anyone with MS, if you know anyone who is feeling trapped, maybe they don't know how to express it, maybe they want to just hear someone else going through the same thing, please give this video to them. I really appreciate it.